Welcome to the Sensory Empower podcast. I'm Bethany, your host. I'm a holistic occupational therapist with over a decade of experience in supporting individuals helping to transform their world through sensory empowerment. This podcast is your guide to the transformative world of sensory storytelling, holistic tools, and empowerment strategies. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Sensory Empower podcast. Today, I have with me a wonderful guest. This is Michelle, and welcome, Michelle. If you can just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your business and a little bit about yourself so everyone knows who they're listening to today.
Awesome. Thank you, Bethany. I'm so excited to be here. So my name's Michelle. My middle name's Joy, so I go by that. It's a lot to do with my business, my brand, about aligning to a life of your own personal joy from the inside. And so I have a membership where I teach somatic dance and meditation, and I also do one-on-one coaching. I have a lot of passions in psychology and healing, and yeah, that's what I love to do.
Beautiful. And we've got some similar interests with like EFT tapping, and I know I've joined your membership and I've really enjoyed learning different EFT tapping techniques. You do a lot of like money manifestation and kind of energetic release for abundance. So it's been really fun to kind of learn EFT tapping from that route as well. So really cool. I'd love to hear kind of what initially drew you into this field and kind of how your journey began. I'm always like curious with people's stories of how they've gotten into what they're doing.
Yeah. So I started out with a passion for psychology. I got a degree in psychology and emphasized positive psychology as my school of thought, of being passionate about that we can change and grow and evolve, and these tools serving us for having a fulfilling life and improving our relationships and all of those things. So that's what I originally studied, and became a mom, and was a stay-at-home mom looking for some kind of a balance of wanting to share this passion and do it in my own type of way, desire to be an entrepreneur. So I did a lot with actual fitness coaching, women with physical health, and blending the mental aspect to physical health. And then that naturally evolved then to wanting to incorporate the mind, body, soul piece, getting more into the emotional wellness aspect. And yeah, that's how it started. And then I started learning how powerful meditation was. And then when I discovered somatic work, that really was like, okay, this really adds this new layer of depth and powerful transformation that I had been looking for. It felt like a shortcut, like, okay, here's a really powerful way to help people get fast results and save them so much time. And like, it really helped me, and seeing that happen for other people is so rewarding.
Yes. Oh, I love that, because it does feel like we're hitting like a reset button when we get to dive into what the wisdom of our body is sharing with us. And I think somatic release is so powerful in that way, to deeply connect to what our body is telling us, let go of things. I know a lot of the opportunities in your membership do a lot of like shaking and physically releasing, and maybe some different sequences where we're kind of, having some affirmation statements. And these are all things that I just love working with my clients using these. And I think they're beautiful power tools to have such an impact when maybe in just the mind spirit, we don't dive as deep. We get to really have this beautiful wisdom in our body to release and let go. I know after I do your classes, I'm like, oh gosh, like so much like yawning and EFT I know is one that I can have a lot of yawning from, just those releases of energy of things that have been stuck in my body. Um, oh, that's such a beautiful story of just like knowing that there was a little bit more and kind of diving in deeper and doing some additional trainings to be able to offer that to your clients. That's so beautiful. And I know dancing in general is like something that is incorporated in a lot of your programming. And I love dance. I use dance very frequently. I'll do dance cleaning, I'll do like dancing and weightlifting. And I just feel like movement is so powerful and it can be such a beautiful somatic tool. So I just kind of intrigued like your opinion of the power of dance influencing somatic release and like any transformations that you've had from client experiences that you wish to share.
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of my story of dance is it's kind of a big pillar to my life, I feel like. And when I love to see how my children, seeing little kids, they naturally just dance. They just are in their bodies, they hear music, and they're going to move. They're not going to second guess themselves or how they're dancing. And I love that childlike joy and innocence that, we as adults are missing. And so bringing that into your healing work can be so powerful for inner child healing and connecting with your body. And so I remember loving dance as a child, and then I did do dance classes where you're in an actual class learning tap, jazz, and ballet. And then I quit before I really wanted to, just off of like social teenage years and friends friends saying, oh, you shouldn't do that, or you should do this sport, or that kind of thing. So I kind of didn't follow my heart, and it was this missing piece in my teenage years that I wanted to get back to. And so I just started to dance on my own for my own fun. And I fell back in love with it with Zumba. As a mom, I found it really therapeutic to have time to go do a Zumba class and then also do my own free dancing. And so as I'd been studying psychology and enjoying fitness, when I found the somatic movement healing technique, I just did one 20-minute class on an Instagram live, and it was just like, this is it. I felt such a transformation in just 20 minutes of this, and just so liberated and free. I want to help other people experience this and have this liberation to dance for your own joy, not care how it looks. And that could be so healing for your creativity, your self-esteem, just so many different things.
I love hearing those things. Of just like there's such power in building, like just be able to release. And I think a lot of that, like thinking about like how kids are able to just have that freedom of dance, there's no judgment from the world. I think play is also something I try to really bring in. So play and dance, it's so deeply healing. And I totally agree with you that building in that creativity and that confidence and that ability, because we do it online with you, right? So our ability to just be in our own space and dance and shake and release and let go and just step into this really lovely energetics space with you. So I know I have definitely felt some powerful releases even within the first like 5 minutes of just letting it go and shaking and anything else that needs to leave my body. And then we always end with kind of some really calming, grounding input, meditation. You kind of walk us through with some calm music. So it's a really lovely, nourishing way of working through, I think, releasing a lot of energy in our world. And I love, are there times where you do, dance parties with your kids and kind of have those play times as well? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's such a easy way to bring the joy back into any area of life, into motherhood, so much we are often taking ourselves too seriously and taking life too seriously. And when we can bring in meeting our kids with, you know, being in that childlike wonder, just enjoying music together and just moving together. And like you said, with cleaning, you know, just can we make the little things in life more fun, more free, allow ourselves to bring in dance and not judge ourselves too much for having
Absolutely.
fun.
It's so freeing to just like feel the like, oh, that was an intense day, and like what is the tool that I can use that almost always is going to be a quick release. And I would say dance is such a powerful one. I've grown up doing dancing since I was a little girl, on my own, formally doing ballet, doing different styles of dance. And I just such an intrigue of how our bodies can move in such ways, like even the fascination of watching different Latin dancer performances and be like, how did we do that? Like there's an intricacy and then wonder of how are we able to move our bodies in such ways, such flexibility, such grace, such like composure, but it's an art form. And I've been absolutely fascinated with dance for many years, probably since I was like 2 or 3 years old when I was walking.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. It really is
It is.
medicine, like medicine for the
Yes, it
soul.
really is. And the beat of the music that we get to feel in our body and that alignment of rhythm, even like listening to drumming and those sorts of things. And I think just like a curiosity, I know you mentioned like Zumba and you had those past experiences of classes with ballet and jazz. Were there any other like formal dance classes that you took? And do you have like a favorite style of dance that you currently use?
Um, yeah, not really. I do really love Zumba and um, going to those classes. Being in a group
Mhm.
setting is really fun to feel the energy. So I have done some workshops for my classes live, and it's really fun to be in person where you can feel the energy of the group together. And again, anytime you're practicing in a group or practicing on camera, there's this extra healing of vulnerability and visibility
Mhm.
and connecting with others in your authentic expression. So
Mhm.
I really love that aspect to it too.
Oh, I very much agree. I think there's such a joy to watch people, because I do go to a Zumba class as well a couple times a week, and it is so fun to see maybe people who haven't come before, and they're like watching and they're trying to get the coordination of the moves. And even halfway through, 20 minutes in, there's this like, ah, oh, whatever, like da da da, just doing their thing, and it's so freeing. I see the like the veil of what people are, the veil of judgment kind of gets lifted and moved away in that group setting because we have everyone standing in their fierce authenticity, shaking and doing whatever move their body wants to let go. So I just love that. I love the idea of community dance. I had some really fun opportunities when I lived in Arizona to do a lot of large scale Latin dance classes. And I mean, that energy is something that is sometimes hard to recreate, of having so many beautiful souls just in complete flow, like just loving what they're doing, self-expression through movement, endorphins from the exercise. Like it's just such a beautiful environment to observe. So it's so fun.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
And then I know along with kind of dance and that release and using meditation, a lot of EFT tapping, so emotional freedom technique, this is something I also love to work with my clients and teach. So I just wanted to kind of hear your thoughts on how you kind of are incorporating EFT tapping and somatic release, and then any like big wins that you yourself have experienced or clients that you work with have experienced.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I definitely experienced a lot of really transformational deep healing from incorporating the body-based techniques. I had, you know, looked into these more mindset heavy, learned a lot in that, and then started shifting into the subconscious work, hypnotherapy, and then bringing in the body-based, seeing how it could be fun and like a shortcut. Um, Definitely experienced some big shifts that I had been working on. And I have a client who is a therapist, and she was really doing a lot of years of psychotherapy and really digging deep into childhood and these things and trying to get to the bottom of her anxiety. And she was surprised how fast doing our sessions of somatic release was able to release these things that she had been digging around in the mind for years, and was able to really eliminate the anxiety and start really building self-trust in her life decisions and her life path and her business. And she's now getting a PhD in quantum psychology. So even deeper into this work, just these studies. So super fun to share that and see that unfold for her as well. And yeah, it's
That
really
is
powerful.
extremely powerful, Michelle. And hearing the interest in diving even deeper after learning that work, I'm always like, so those are like such celebration moments of the curiosity peaked so much that we're going in and diving even deeper with additional training. Oh, I love it. And I just, talking just about body work of just, you just shared a powerful success story of the body work combined with those tapping and release points of talking out and releasing the intensities that we're experiencing, because we're humans and life can be really challenging in some moments. And I think when I first started working with EFT tapping, probably about 6 years ago now, was doing some coaching, and it was a lot related to confidence and worthiness and stepping forward as an entrepreneur. And I was like, wow, what was this? Like, what a game changer of being able to speak out loud. So I just love that. That's such a beautiful share and testament of this work, and how deeply powerful it can be. And I know something that I experience a lot is like big, huge yawns, and then like some tears sometimes, as like this is the purge of the energy coming out. It's releasing, I'm dumping it. Um, is there an experience that you have maybe with EFT and your like system response? Because I get that question asked sometimes in my membership as well, of like, am I doing it right? Am I having the, like, what if I'm feeling like lighter here, but then I'm having some tears? Like, is that okay? So sometimes there's critical analysis that kicks in. So do you have any advice or thoughts on kind of like what that is for people's experiences with EFT?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think as we take note of, starting to practice these tools, starting to practice these techniques, taking note, maybe journaling, just how you're feeling. And then as you practice them and build a process, noticing the improvements in your daily feelings. When you create a lifestyle with these tools, you really notice the impact as it adds up like a compound effect. Then you can look back and see the difference in your daily levels of relaxation, your overall wellness, your sense of inner peace. And then tangibly, you do see signs with the sighing, the tears. I think quite often people will get to that edge of, oh no, there's tears coming, and kind of question, do I lean into it or do I pull back? And I do often see in this work that often people have this reserve built up of almost like a frozen state where they've been suppressing so much, and it starts to melt. You're literally like unthawing the emotions, unthawing the ice, and letting the tears flow. Initially it might feel like a lot, but it starts to resolve and it starts to get more stable and starts to then be smaller, noticeable amounts, but still creating a lasting impact of the work. So
I love that metaphor of the thawing. I had never thought of it like that, but that I would definitely step into agreeing with that experience within my own body. Of there were moments in my life where I needed to just dissociate. I needed to step aside, move forward, do my job, do the things that I needed to do to be, bringing in finances and doing the tasks of my day, but lots of other things going on behind the scenes. And stepping into working with someone and going through those processes to release the deep things that have been ignored, maybe, or kind of neglected and not acknowledged. It was overwhelming at first. I will say, and I think the thawing visual is just such a I'm such a visual person, so I really love that, Michelle. Thank you for sharing that with us. Just kind of visualizing, we're thawing and we're releasing so we can get to the depth to then get it out of our system and acknowledge it. And as we work on that releasing, yes, it could be somewhat uncomfortable. However, on the other side, we're hearing some beautiful wins, and I am hearing such beautiful wins with the clients that I'm working with as well, of that acknowledgement of, and now I get to have this beautiful awareness, this self-love, this confidence, and this releasing through such a powerful tool, because we finally allowed ourselves to slow down and tune in and listen. And I think just this lasting change that we can have and beautiful self-love to go through these experiences. So I would just love to hear a little bit more about maybe some key elements that contribute to lasting change. Is this a one and then we're done, or how much time would you spend maybe with a client to work on some of these healings through somatics and through EFT tapping?
Yeah. So oftentimes, if it is a deep trauma, it is good to work with a practitioner, a space holder, because it is, taking courage to be with these, and you do want support and help to make sure that you're fully clearing and releasing the trauma and feeling safe too. But it can be really effective at fully getting out a specific trauma. And I've seen that and have experienced that. And, in Western psychology, it's a lot of your thoughts create your feelings type of a theory. And Eastern psychology is more that these trapped emotions are creating your thoughts. And so they can kind of work together to get to the root. And you'll know you've released the emotion and the trauma when you're having less of those ruminating thoughts coming up, because they're trying to share something for you to look at in deeper. And so I find that the more you clear these things out, it does become more still, more baseline. And then pairing beautifully with having the daily practice of mindfulness, of listening to your body, of honoring your needs, helps to maintain your emotional health. And so I see it as a bit of a process of both. It can help you with deep layers of trauma, and it can also help with the lighter aspects of just living in a more light and relaxed lifestyle.
Mm. And that's just such a beautiful testament to this work. And yeah, I'm so grateful for your shares and just the insight that you provided for the listeners today, Michelle, on, thinking about this deep work. And yes, it is such self love to step into this work. And yes, working with a practitioner to be able to have it facilitated in a calm, patient way to where your nervous system, I think, is feeling safe doing the work. We want it to be kind of a gradual process of releasing. And as an occupational therapist, I see a lot of traumas related to sensory sensitivities. So the world is overstimulating. There have been moments where our system has responded in such a way that the stimulus, loud noise, very bright lights, whatever the sensitivity and the experience that our brain recalls as that memory moment, gets held and stuck within our bodies. So that's this beautiful path that I love to support with, is that yes, sensory overwhelm can happen to many people, and we can use some of these very beautiful tools to help release it from our bodies. So we're stepping in with power and grace and confidence and beautiful kind of embodiment. And that was just kind of another thought I had, is just kind of like your idea of embodiment in our daily lives, and if there's any strategies individuals can use to kind of cultivate this embodiment.
Yeah. So I like to think that embodiment really relates a lot to being present, and it is the actual physical sensations of noticing what our bodies are doing, the noticing our feet on the floor, bringing in our senses, cultivating this appreciation for our body and our senses and the pleasure of sensations in our body. And I also love the idea of it being coming back to our heart. If you study the heart mind connection, like the Heart Math Institute has a lot of really beautiful studies of this, of the heart actually has these neurons and has the ability to lead us even better than the mind can, often at times, and that we have a heart filled of connection with others. So a lot of the somatic practice is getting out of our minds and back into our bodies, building that sense of proprioception in our body, what's happening. And as we do this, we trust getting more back into our heart, of opening up our heart, of it being safe to live from the heart. And so this can be as simple as just taking a few breaths in and out of your heart, and just bringing that awareness deep into your body, and doing that at little pockets of the day, setting a timer, checking in. Am I feeling my body? Am I listening to my body? What do I need at this moment? Because it's natural for us to be busy and up in our minds. In our society, that's what's quite common. So it's almost a rebellion, a rebellion of self-love to, I'm going to take a moment to be in my body and keep coming back to my body.
Oh, well, I'll be rebellious alongside.
Yeah.
I think it's so...
Yeah, it's like going against the norm.
It definitely is. And I think that's where maybe the discomfort initially starting can be an experience, because it is maybe not what we've known since like young, children, and then it just kind of can sometimes disappear. So I think that it can be like slowing down and having those pause moments. I know mindfulness has been talked about, and just kind of slowing down, noticing our heart rate, noticing our breath rate. One that I really love is just kind of like pushing my hands into my hips and like squeezing my toes, like, yes, I'm here, I'm in this present moment. Those are kind of some quick go-to grounding techniques that I really feel have been helpful for my nervous system, and then clients that I support of just kind of, yep, we're here. Yes, this is challenging. Yes, we're stepping into the unknown, but how powerful of a transformation, and what a just delightful way to release things that no longer serve us and allow us to step forth with confidence and ease, and then just the beautiful community aspect too of how we can do this in group and supporting each other in group and community. And that kind of goes into your membership. I would love to have you share a little bit, Michelle, about where people can find a little bit more about your membership and your work.
Thank you. Yeah, you can find me on social media at Michelle Joy Heal, my website, michellejoyheal.com. And I do one-on-one coaching, and I also have my membership, which is a lot of the bringing in the somatic work and healing around relationship with money. I've found that this is another shortcut in a sense for especially for entrepreneurs or anyone who wants to create a life of freedom and is finding these blocks about fully sharing themselves, having this expression of their passion and wanting to serve the world. So healing money blocks actually can be quite spiritual and emotional and get to a lot of our deepest layers of intimacy. So we do a lot of that type of work in the membership, and it's quite fun.
It is, and I have really enjoyed being in your membership and learning and just experiencing. There's a lot of different EFT tapping for manifestation. There's a few really beautiful like Ho'oponopono experiences where we get to think about using that Hawaiian prayer to release. Of just like beautiful energetics, and I really, really enjoyed it. So highly recommend it to anyone that is listening and interested. And Michelle, I just want to take you, thank you so much for taking the time today to share your story and share a little bit kind of insight of all of these powerful tools. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bethany. Thanks so much for having me. It was my pleasure.
Thank you for joining me on this sensory adventure through Sensory Empower, the podcast. Remember, empowerment begins with awakening your senses. Subscribe now and embark on a journey of self-discovery and transformation. Until next time, may your senses guide you towards a life filled with peace, joy, and empowerment. Because true empowerment begins with embracing your senses.